Hello guys, welcome back to another Grav NHL recap. This time we'll be recapping the best games, best highlights, and best plays from October 23rd's NHL action. If you guys haven't seen this series already, I looked through last night's NHL action, the best games, the best scores, and the best plays to ultimately give you the highlights of last night in the NHL. Now, there was a total of 8 NHL games last night, not as much as there usually are, but the games we did get were pretty good. There was a lot of great storylines, a lot of great games, a lot of great goals, and of course a lot of fantastic finishes in the NHL. I was kind of surprised by how good the night was. The first game was between the Arizona Coyotes and the Columbus Blue Jackets, with the Arizona Coyotes taking the 4-1 win in Columbus. Columbus getting kind of upset there. Now they dropped to a 4-4 record, while the Coyotes improved to 3-5. Columbus did have the advantage of this game, getting 36 shots to 26, but Darcy Kemper for Arizona was very, very good in this game. Besides the first goal, he was very safe throughout, and for Bobrovsky, it wasn't quite the same. And of course, the main storyline is Christian Fischer getting his first career hat-trick versus Columbus. Some great assists by Derek Stepan. He looked fantastic in this game. Of course, the first hat-trick of his career. He's still a pretty good young player for Arizona, another good player for Arizona in their youth core. So he's pretty good, and of course, him getting his first hat-trick versus Columbus. Not a bad night for him, and not a bad night for the Coyotes. The next game between the Florida Panthers and the New York Rangers was disappointing. The New York Rangers winning 5-2. Sorry for the Rangers fans watching this, but Florida, man, they now lost against Detroit and they now lost against New York. It's just such a rough season so far for them. The New York Rangers ended up winning this game 5-2, and my eternal depression of putting Florida as a good playoff team is really backfiring right about now. They have a 1-3-3 record now, with New York adding to it 3-5-1. New York played good in this game, but Florida deserved to win this game. But of course, goaltending and defense just was slaughtering them throughout the game. New York, of course, scoring on some good opportunities. Florida outshot the New York Rangers 38-22 while giving New York 6 power plays. They really were trying to lose. New York obviously doesn't have the greatest firepower, but Florida were just not able to win, not able to get some stops goaltending-wise, and of course that sucks in general. Florida, I thought, looked good, but Georgiev, the New York Rangers goaltender, one of my favorite goaltenders in the league, by the way, had a fantastic game. He looked great too, and was probably the main reason why New York even had a chance in this game. Now for the scores in this one, it was pretty much just New York and Mika Zibanejad. He had 2 goals, 2 assists. Fantastic night for him. Zuccarello also had 2 goals. He looked pretty good. And New York, while they didn't look like a better team at all, definitely scored on their opportunities, and Michael Hutchinson for Florida did not look the greatest. Next game between the Calgary Flames and the Montreal Canadiens was an historic night for a couple of guys, and for the Montreal Canadiens, they win 3-2, now extending their record to 5-1-2. Of course, as I said in the Mark Bergevin video, proving a lot of doubters wrong and proving a lot of people wrong with their record so far. And a big milestone for Carey Price as he ties Patrick Roy for second most wins in Canadiens goalie history. That's amazing, and of course Carey Price is on to set to maybe break that record, as he's done fantastic with Canadiens in the last decade, and of course Canadiens have been a pretty good team around him for the past decade, and of course he's been one of the best goaltenders in the world, so he's going to get up there, and it's great to see him reach that milestone and eventually pass Patrick Roy. And for Calgary, their goaltender Rittich is slowly making a name for himself, as he made 37 saves on 40 shots last night. He was very, very good, while the Calgary defense was not very good. Their offense wasn't very good, and for Calgary, it was just a stinker of a night. And the Canadiens win this, and I think much deservedly so, as they look to be the much better team throughout. The next game between the Boston Bruins and the Ottawa Senators, this was a dominant night for that first line for Boston. Once again, so many points across the board for them. They were absolutely lethal, making Ottawa's defense look like AHLers at best. Pasternak with 2 goals, 2 assists, Bergeron with a power play goal and 2 assists, Marchand with one of the most beautiful assists you'll ever see for that 4th Boston Bruins goal, and that first line for Boston was just connecting like they've always had. Now, Tuukka Rask making 38 saves was really a good sign for Boston. He got bailed out a couple of times by Brandon Carlos and a couple of empty netters there, but Tuukka Rask was still pretty solid in there. Brandon Carlo whacking the puck out of the air a couple of times. What a beast. The next game between the Sharks and the Predators was, in my opinion, the game of the night. I was streaming this game, and I'll put it up there if I remember to, but this game was absolutely insane. The 5-4 win for the San Jose Sharks, but on paper, this was so close and such a good game to watch. And this was a back-and-forth game. At the end of the second period, Nashville ended up taking the 4-2 lead, and you'd think that this game would be over, right? Nashville's defense is pretty rock solid. Well, you'd be wrong. Brendan Dillon comes up the ice short-handed and scores. What a filthy shot, and this is much closer than it was before that goal. Then Joe Pavelski comes in on a cross-crease pass and just snipes it on UC Saros, and this game is tied. But hey, with 3 minutes left, Brent Burns has taken it into his own hands. On the power play, Erik Karlsson has it to the point, makes a sneaky pass right to Brent Burns, and Brent Burns puts everything in that shot, blasting it past UC Saros to take the 5-4 lead, and for once, a team actually keeps the lead, and we end the game. A crazy 5-4 victory for the San Jose Sharks, and one of the biggest comebacks, if not the biggest comeback so far this NHL season. But again, as a guy that wanted San Jose to win, I was pretty hyped about this. I was really happy, and what a comeback win for the San Jose Sharks, and again, a big win versus the Nashville Predators, really solidifying maybe the San Jose Sharks as a true contender in that specific division, which we all thought they were going to be, but they had a weird start, but getting this win versus Nashville is a fantastic step forward. But with that 5-4 goal for Brent Burns, it actually made a little bit of history as, again, of course, Karlsson gets the assist in that play. Burns gets the game-winning goal. But this is the first time in NHL history that two Norris winners, past Norris winners, have connected for a game-winning goal. I'm kind of weirded out that that's never happened before. But really, the San Jose defense is something that we've never seen before. Erik Karlsson and Brent Burns on the same defense and on the same line on the power play. It really is lethal, and right now the San Jose Sharks are making history with that. The next game between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Anaheim Ducks pretty much was the score that everybody predicted. The Chicago Blackhawks winning 3-1. The Anaheim Ducks again putting out a pretty bad effort, getting outshot 38-25. Again, trying to get John Gibson to bail him out, but it just was not working this time. Even though John Gibson did bail him out a couple of times, it just was not enough to get the win past Chicago. They looked pretty good, and Chicago definitely gets the win versus Anaheim, and well deserved for that. Of course, Anaheim now dropped to a 5-4-1 record. They've now been, I think they're now on a losing streak, which, gasp, I would never have expected that after they've been trying to rely on John Gibson to bail them out every single game. It was probably going to come sooner or later, and the Anaheim Ducks collapse right now is starting to roll. We've now seen that with a few guys being still on the IR for Anaheim. They're not the healthiest squad in the world, but now they're still relying on John Gibson, and today's NHL is just not going to work for very long, and Anaheim is starting to see the results of that. The next game between the Dallas Stars and the Los Angeles Kings was one that I think both teams needed to win. The Dallas Stars, though, getting the 4-2 victory, that's good to see. And the Dallas Stars were just a little bit outplayed in this game, getting outshot 33-23, but they did end up getting the win, and they were actually scoring on their opportunities, which feels different for Dallas Stars hockey this season. Ben Bishop was absolutely amazing, having his best night of the season, I think, at least. He made a couple of fantastic saves and really kept the Dallas Stars in this, and while they were getting outshot, getting outplayed, Ben Bishop was the highlight of the night and definitely the first star, in my opinion, and definitely the MVP of that game, because without him, it would probably be a much different story. But the Los Angeles Kings now with a 5-game winning or losing streak, and while they didn't look all that bad in that game versus Dallas, this is a terrible fate for LA. While I didn't expect them to make the playoffs, they've pretty much been what I expected them to be. Slow, not able to score a lot, and just not able to really compete in today's NHL. And I feel like that obviously their best times are past them. We've seen this early in the season so far with some injuries, but also some of the older players just not performing like they used to, which is exactly what I expected. Now, the next game was probably the game of the night. Besides the San Jose Nashville game, this is definitely it. The last game of the night was between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Edmonton Oilers, and you know what that means. There's a whole Crosby versus McDavid battle that is really never going to get settled. But again, the big story in this game is Connor McDavid versus Sidney Crosby, the battle of Edmonton Oilers and the Pittsburgh Penguins, one that will be held a lot of times in the next few years and will be very, very good. But this game was really a game that defense forgot, but hey, I love seeing these type of games too. This game was literally as back and forth as it went. It seemed like when Edmonton would score a goal, Pittsburgh would answer right back and vice versa. It was a crazy game throughout, and then we go 5-5 tie into overtime when one of the craziest goals I've ever seen just happened. Crosby just nonchalantly going along the boards, then dekes out Ryan Strome, no problem, making him look like nothing, then gets out Darnell Nurse, dekes around Cam Talbot again, and then on the backhand snipes top roof on Cam Talbot. He already had a pretty good bad night, but that was not making him have any favors there. And what a goal by Sidney Crosby to win 6-5 in overtime versus the Edmonton Oilers, and of course, the Crosby versus McDavid debate, and of course, this round, Crosby did win. But I think both Connor McDavid and Sidney Crosby were the best players for their team. They had excellent nights offensively, and of course, Sidney Crosby topping it off with that 6-5 overtime goal. It was a beautiful goal and a beautiful game, a great 6-5 back and forth offensive game, and I'd have it no other way. And even though I'm on the side that says McDavid is the better player than Sidney Crosby right now, Sidney Crosby wins the round versus McDavid, at least when it comes to Edmonton versus Pittsburgh. And I think there has been 4 times where Sidney Crosby has faced off versus Connor McDavid in his career now, and I think Edmonton has lost all 4 of those games. So Pittsburgh obviously has that advantage so far versus that Connor McDavid and Sidney Crosby fight. Right now, Crosby has that advantage. But again, a pretty big night for the NHL, even though there are only 8 games, not a lot of games to talk about. There were a lot of great moments, a lot of great goals, and of course that Sidney Crosby overtime goal to top it off was really the icing on the cake. But I also want to hear from you guys. What do you think about yesterday's NHL games? What do you think about the moments? Which games were you watching? And of course, what did you think about the things that we talked about in this video? I'd really like to hear from you guys down in the comments below. Now, if you want some more Grav goodness after you watch this video, you can watch this video where I talk about Marc Bergevin and if he deserves a second chance as Canadiens general manager. But that's what for today, guys. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you like and subscribe. Again, tell me below what you thought about October 23rd's NHL action and the things that we talked about in this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Goodbye.
Bye.